Welcome to CS Tech Solutions. Today is Learn in Python. Today is the topic of Python typecasting and the forms of the programming's point of views. Typecastings refer to the convertings and object of on types into another's and here we shall learn about the typecasting in a Python programming. At the Python typecasting is a process in which in convert the literals of one data type to the another data types, and the Python is support the two types of typecasting is implicit and explicit. In Python there are the different data types such as numbers, sequence, mapping, etc. And there may be the situations where you have available the data of one data type, but you want to use it in the another forms. First type is Python implicit casting, and then any languages is compiler and interpreters is automatically convert the object of one type into the another's, and it is called automatic or the implicit castings. And the Python is strongly types language, and it does not allow the automate type conversations between the unrelated data types. For example, the string cannot convert the any number types, and however the integers can be the cast into the float. Other language such as JavaScript is weakly type language, and where the integers is converts into the strings for the concatenations. Implicit in int to float castings take place than any arithmetic operations on the int and float operand is done, and the considers we have and the integers and one of floats variables as a equal 10 and b equal 10.5 is a float object, and to perform either the additions of the 10 and the integer object is upgrade, and to the 10 dot 0 it is a float, but it evaluate evaluated to its Arial's numerics values, and now we can perform the additions of the two floats, and c equal a plus b, and print the c is 10 plus 10.5, sum is 20.5. Second type is a Python explicit castings. Although the automatic or the implicit castings is limited to the integer to the float conversations, you can use Python's built-in functions int, float, and strs to perform the explicit conversations such as string to integers, and Python int function, and the Python built-in int function is convert the integers literals to the integer objects, and the float to integers, and the string to integers, and if the strings itself has valid integers literals representations. Using int function with an int object as the argument is the evaluant to declaring the int object declaring a equal int counts and 10.5 is convert the integer values, and a print as the 10 print, and the int functions is also the return the integers 1 if the boolean object is giving the arguments as a equal int counts as true, and a is print as a print the 1, and otherwise you have boolean values as false and print the a as 0. And string to integers, the string functions, uh, int function is return the integer forms of the strings object, and only if it the constant of the valid integers representations as a equal int counts and double quotes 100, and print the a is 100. Not a strings values is print, but convert the integers and print. And however, if the strings constant is non-integer representations, the Python is raised the values errors. A equal int counts and double quotes hello world, and print the a integers as convert, but not the values errors is represent as the tracebacks, and counts as the most recent collaged, and the file double quotes and arrow sign less than and greater than inside the stdin stdin, and line 1 in modules as values errors as unvalid literals of for int with the base 10 and hello world. Third function is a float function in Python, as the float functions is a built-in functions in Python, and it return the float object if the argument is a float literals, and integers or the strings with a valid floating point representations, and using the floats with a float object as the argument is the evaluate to declaring a float object declaring, and a equal the float counts as 100, and a print as a 100.0 is convert the value integer to the float. And last function as the Python str functions, we say how the Python obtains the integers or the floats numbers from the corresponding the string representations. The str functions is works of opposites, and it surround the integers or the float objects with quotes 2. The return the str's object, and str's functions is return the strings representations of any Python's object, and in these sessions we shall see the different examples of the str's functions in the Python. Let's check the str's examples. A equal strs and 10 is integers to strings as conversion. A is print, and single quotes 10 is print, and the float to strings a equal str counts and 11.10, and a is print as a at the convert the float to strings values, and single quotes 11.1 is print, and the boolean to the strings as a equal str counts and single quotes true, and a is print as single quotes true is boolean to string as convert and print. Thank you to watch the videos. Please subscribe the channel, on the notification and bell icon. Thank you so much guys.